Hi guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we're going to be looking at the Tier 8 French medium premium tank, the AMX Chasseur de Chars, otherwise known as the CDC. Now, the CDC is quite a unique medium tank in the fact that it's very fast, quite manoeuvrable, and has virtually no armour to speak of. So if you're the kind of person that likes playing their light tanks, or high tier Japanese mediums such as the STA-1, which, as a lot of people know, do not really have armour and uses their manoeuvrability to stay alive, then this could be the tank for you. Alright, let's have a look at the armour first. Like I say, virtually none to speak of. 30mm on the front of the hull and turret, 20mm on the sides and rear of the hull and the turret. However, it weighs just a shade under 34 tonnes and has a massive 1200 horsepower engine, which gives it a power to weight ratio of 35 horsepower per tonne, well, just over, which means that it reaches its maximum speed of 57 kilometers an hour very, very quickly, and it can maintain it across most terrains. However, it does have slightly worse terrain resistances, which Wargaming don't give us in the garage, than some of the other tanks, especially a lot of the light tanks and a lot of the other mediums. And its hull and turret traverse are not amazing. They're pretty good, but they're not amazing. The French, no, not the French, sorry, this is the French. The Russians and the Chinese beat them on hull and turret traverse, but that's about it. I think this is better than most of the other tier 8 mediums in the game for chassis and turret traverse, and the reason Wargaming gave it those slightly higher terrain resistances and slightly lower traverse speeds is to prevent this tier 8 medium having the manoeuvrability of a light tank as well as the speed. Now, you're not going to be side scraping in this, and your best defense is not getting hit unless you're extremely lucky and take a hit right on the nose cone at the base of the gun. With the 20mm of armour on the sides, it means that anything with a 60mm or higher caliber gun is going to overmatch your armour, and what that means is that if the caliber of the gun is 3 times or greater than the thickness of your armour, so 20mm would be 60mm caliber, then it doesn't matter what your angle is, it's just going to punch through regardless. The only hope you've got there is if you track eat it, and I would definitely not rely on that. But with its good gun depression, you can work ridgelines like a boss, just make sure to relocate in between each shot, and you can run rings around some of the bigger, slower tanks on the game. However, like I say, this is not a frontline tank, it is a support tank, and you can also use that speed and manoeuvrability to relocate around the battlefield to go and support your allies where you are needed. Now, its gun is 90mm, good rate of fire, 8.2 rounds a minute, really good penetration actually, the second best of the tier 8s, tier 8 mediums shall I say, at 212. The only one better is the Centurion with its 20 pounder at 226. With it being a 90mm, you're looking at your average 240 damage, which just about all the 90mm get, which is, again is quite decent damage. You know, it's pretty typical, well, very typical of your tier 8 mediums. The only ones that get better are the Chinese and the Russians again, with their derpy 122mm at 390, but they only have 175mm penetration, and they get some 100mm with 250, and they get 175 pen, apart from the Chinese who get 181, I think it is. Now, it's quite a big tank. I mean, there it is. I've left the Liberté in. There's the Liberté. There's the CDC. There's not much of a size difference, so you do present quite a large target. Equipment-wise, I've gone for vertical stabilizer. I've also gone for a tank gun rammer and vent, which is pretty much my usual setup because I'm boring. 390 meter view range, which isn't bad. Average camouflage rating. So I've gone for camouflage on my crew to try and improve that, and when that's done I'll probably swap it out for Sixth Sense, because not being seen and not being hit are your best defense in this thing. It comes with Brothers in Arms if you buy the Ultimate Bundle, which I did, so I don't know, I'll probably just keep that on there anyway. With its 390 meter view range, which again is pretty average for your tier 8s, so look, yeah, Panther 88 390, Freedom 390, Motherland 360, but it's Russian, STA-1 380, so yeah, it's pretty much in there. You could possibly swap out the gun rammer because it has got a good rate of fire anyway for maybe coated optics, or maybe swap the vents out for them instead, but that's entirely up to you. Possibly even a spore liner, which might help against high explosives, because most things that you will come up against can penetrate you and do full damage with a high X, which is why I keep a few in case I come up against CDCs in this thing. So a spore liner might help, but it will increase your weight and reduce your maneuverability, which is kind of detrimental to you, because like I keep saying, and I'm going to keep saying it until it drills in, not being hit and your maneuverability and not being seen are your defense in this thing. Like I say, you have no armor. Anything with a 90mm gun or higher is going to overmatch your frontal armor, again, regardless of the angle. Now, let's have a look. Anything else I've got to mention? Aiming time 2.2 seconds, accuracy 0.34, which is pretty average for your tier 8 mediums. Rate of fire we've covered. Signal range 750, which again is pretty average. It's going to keep you in touch with people. Your premium ammunition, which is APCR on this. Yep, 259 damage, and I think it was 45. Yep, on your high explosive with 320 alpha damage. Now I think that is pretty much it for the CDC in the garage. We've covered the armor, which is poor. Oh, 1400 hit points, which is a little on the low side. Yeah, 57 kilometers an hour. I think that pretty much covers it. So like I say, if you like playing your light tanks, your Japanese mediums, or you just want to live dangerously, then this might be the tank for you. I do like this tank. I'm not very good in it. In fact, I'm pretty bad, which is why I was hoping to bring you some good gameplay to show this off, but unfortunately you'll have to settle for the crap gameplay that I could manage. My survival rate in this tank is not very good. It takes a lot of practice and it's a hard tank to use, and I would probably recommend it for the more advanced players amongst you. Otherwise your health will go down pretty damn quickly. So enough of me jabbering on in the garage. Let's get into some replays, and well, then you can make up your own mind over whether this will be the tank for you or whether you'd rather go for something with a little bit more armor. Oh, the only thing I forgot to mention is it does not get preferential matchmaking, so you will come up against tier 10s, but with your 200mm of penetration, if you can't get through the front of them, you've certainly got the maneuverability to get around the sides and the rear of them and punish them for it. So without further ado, let's get into those replays. So here we are, it's Malinovka, standard battle, and it is a tier 9 matchup, I believe, although I don't think there's many tier 9s in it. But we'll soon find out, because I think I'll bring the team list up. Yeah, technically tier 9, only 2 on each team, which isn't too bad. Like I say, this thing does not get preferential matchmaking, so it will see tier 10 matches, and they are damn scary. You can get two-shotted quite easily by some of those vehicles. Like I say, you know, you do kind of have to be a little bit afraid of nearly every tank you fight, because it doesn't matter what they fire at you or what angle, they're going to penetrate, even with high explosives, which is a bad thing. And you get hit by artillery in this, and artillery just love shooting at CDCs. God almighty, if I've ever been spotted and there's been artillery on the enemy team, there's just been shells raining out of the sky until I'm either dead or nobody can see me anymore. T-49s as well, they're particularly fond of shooting at CDC. In fact, what am I saying? Everybody shoots at the CDC and loves it. They see it, sense an easy kill, like I say, because it doesn't matter where they shoot you or what angle they shoot you at, they are going to penetrate your armour. And so you might as well have a big neon sign above your head. So, as I was saying in the garage, like, this really does suit people who likes the light tanks. Japanese mediums with their lower armour, using the manoeuvrability to get away with things that other tanks wouldn't. Take a pot shot at T-44, I don't know where that went. See, I was going to go up the hill, but as you can see by the spread, everybody's gone up the hill. There's a Liberté across there, and I've not been spotted yet. That was a dodgy shot. I was lucky that one hit. Not much of the rear of his tank showing there. Got one into his ammo rack. He's either going to have to use a repair kit or deal with that and try and judge where he's going to be. Oh, and I do. I think my luck's run out on that one though. I'm not going to risk another shot. Right, what else we got? Something just popped up down there. Didn't quite see what it was. And I think that T-44. has made its way up here. That could be that one. There's an A44 fighting it over there, and let's see if we can go and give him a hand before he dies. Don't know if I'm going to get there in time. No, not quite. It is the T44. But he's now being rushed down by a T10. So I'm going to use this dip in the ground to my advantage. Is that an STB? Yeah, STA1. That's it. Couldn't quite see what it was then. And he hits me and damages my ammo rack. Now, yeah, that's something I did forget about in the garage. I don't know if this has got particularly large ammo racks or it is because of the lack of armour that obviously everything just goes through, but I do seem to get the ammo rack damaged fairly often in this, so possibly safe stowage on your loader, or maybe a wet ammo rack instead of vents possibly, but I'll leave that up to you. If you buy it, you find you're getting your ammo rack damaged a lot, then you know, you adjust the equipment accordingly. Bounced off that T44, got to back up. I don't know if it's that spotted me or something else, but no. As you can see, the hits just come in. Although, one of those did sound like a bounce, but that could have been off the T10 next to me. This tank does have good gun depression though, so you can work those ridge lines, but like I say, I am not very good in this tank at the minute. It is a difficult tank to do well in. But if you start playing it more cautious playstyle until you get used to it. Now you can see there I'm trying to use the minimap to aim, trying to figure out roughly where they'll be on that ridge, and I think I was aiming a little bit too high. I don't normally do this sort of thing, but I was, you know, was in the CDC, new tank, start trying out a few new things. It's worth it. Cost of a couple of cheap shells. Something's shooting back at me though, so I've got to be careful. No, I know roughly where they're going to be, but it's just not happening. And they seem to be swarming all over our guys that went up the hill there. And there's nothing really much going on down here. I think the T10 finished off that T44. So I'm going to go back because we're getting our cap rushed. And you can see the speed of this thing just to relocate. And that was a really donk shot into that rock. Get one into the side of the Black Prince to finish him off and just pick up my first kill by ninjaing it slightly. But the speed of this thing just allowing you to relocate pretty much anywhere on the battlefield, wherever you want, in a very short amount of time. Pretty much like you would in a light tank, although it's got... Ooh, that T29 see me and I missed my shot into him. I would say that it's does more damage than a lot of the tier 8 excuse me, the tier 8 light tanks, but thinking back on it I don't think it does. I know the WZ132 gets a choice of I think an 85mm or a 100mm, which is the Chinese tier 8 light tank, and that does 250 with 100mm, so... But still, this is quite a respectable fire rate and damage for this thing. So, coming back across this way, we're in the lead. They seem to have dealt with those guys that were surrounding them quite easily. There's Liberté down here, one shot kill. Finish him off. Don't really pick up much damage for that though. And there's an LTTB crossing the lake down there. Something spotted me, so I've got to be careful. My ammo rack's been damaged again, as you can see. And I used my repair kit on my ammo rack earlier, so I'm going to have to just make do with the damaged ammo rack for the rest of this round. Which is quite frustrating because it does take away some of that lovely rate of fire. I just can't seem to be able to hit the LTTB, but somebody finishes him off. Right, there's an enemy T10 down there on full health. Can I get a shot at his weak spot, the cupola? I can, but I just damage his view ports. And you'll see what I mean. This is a pretty damn average game. Nothing too special. I'd say I'm an above average player, sometimes with moments of genius, skill and luck, mostly luck. But yeah, I do want to get good in this tank, because the few games where I have had I think I did have quite a decent game in it the other day, and I just forgot to record it because, well, I'm crap. So that's why you're making do with these now. But, you know, these aren't too bad, and I do want to get good in this thing. It's fast. It's manoeuvrable, like I say, good rate of fire when your ammo rack's not damaged. And as you can see, I'm just popping back and forth, pop out, put a shot in, and back up again, although he did hit me then, which is unfortunate, so I've got to be very careful now. I'm a one-hit kill for that guy. I think my problem with the CDC is I do tend to play a slightly more aggressive play style, and it doesn't particularly suit the CDC playing it like that. You've got to be a lot more cautious. You've got to, like I say, play a more supportive role rather than being up front and right on the edge of the action. I wouldn't say you've got to hide away all the time, but you definitely can't be as aggressive as you can in other tier 8 mediums. And there we go. Like I say, nothing spectacular, but it shows you some of the aspects of the tank itself. It shows you its speed and its manoeuvrability, its rate of fire, the distinct lack of armour. I got an extra 10 grand for that one, and that's just double crew XP on the thingy at the minute on the CDC. And I came 4th, which is a little bit disappointing. But like I say, I'm not very good in this tank yet. I'm still practicing. Getting better in my Cromwell. I know I mentioned in one of my other videos about that, so fingers crossed I'll get better. So here we are for the next one. Technically a tier 10 match, but there's only one tier 10 on each team, 2 tier 9s. Most of everything else is tier 8, and I think there are a couple of tier 7s chucked in there as well. Now I know I quite often say that I like this tank, but there are quite a lot of tanks in this game that I like. There are also quite a lot that I don't like. T28 prototype, for example. I despise it. Cannot stand that thing. Really can't. I've not got the, I think is it the 120mm gun on it. I've only got the 105 at the minute, which is a damn good gun on the T29, but not so much on a tier 8 tank destroyer. And I know there's a lot of people out there that do like it, so, you know, well, let me know in the comments what you think of the T28 prototype. Personally, I don't like it. My opinion might change when I get the 120mm gun, but I really want the T30. So, I've just got to suck it up and get through it. Anyway, here we are on Live Oaks. Standard battle, I think. I don't know if I mentioned that. And I'm going to head down this way towards the bridge, which is my usual haunt. There's no way I'm taking this thing anywhere near the town. Not while I've got open space. So I'm going to try and stay back a little bit. Try and support and cover these guys down here in the Centurion and the... not sure what it is, sorry. Bat Chat, that was it. It's nice that our tier 10s come down here. Although Bat Chat's, like a lot of autoloaders, not very good at holding places on their own, but he's got support from me and that Centurion. Motherland down there, getting a lot of attention from those guys. Now that is the advantage of an autoloader, that massive burst damage. The potential to do so much damage in such a short amount of time. In fact, in the time that most other vehicles would fire a shot, and before they've even reloaded, you've just done a massive amount of damage. The other Motherland's retreated a bit, so I'm going to sneak down the railway. There's a Rhinotail Borsig down there, put one into him, not spotted yet. Ooh, put one in my direction, but that was blind fire. Now he goes back a bit. I expect him to come out the other side, but he doesn't, and then something takes a little chunk out of my health, so I back up a bit. There he is. One more cheeky shot into him. Now he's got back up. That Motherland's back. Put one in the Motherland, just hit his tracks. Failed to knock him off though. Now there's more than just those two down there. I'm sure I saw something else. Not entirely sure what it was, but you've got to be very cautious. Oh crap, it's an E100. That's a problem. Well, that's a problem if he's any good. E100s are very good if you know how to use them and you know how to angle the armour properly. Thankfully, you can't angle the armour from really more than one direction at once. And there's enough of us down here that we could get him surrounded, put fire in him from different directions, we might be able to take him down. But I'm still playing a very cautious playstyle, so is that bat chat. I can't wait to get my bat chat. Oh, I also want the AMX 30 though, AMX 30 prototype and B. I'm not very far down that French line though, I'm only at the AMX 12T, I best pull my finger out and get going down it. Right, we've got a bit more backup with the T-29 down here now. Centurion looks to be fighting the motherland down there. And is that Rheinmetall Borsig still alive? Yes it is. See if we can just get another shot and finish him off and get a low roll, I think that was. And leave him on a slither of health. And now the E100's coming along. Can I get one into the side of his turret? Oh, goes a bit low, hits his hull, and something else hits me from down there. Possibly that Borsig. And if it was him, then I'm thankful he's using the 128mm if he is. Come on, just peek back over. Just one little, don't be shy. There you go. Didn't take long. Right. T10 down here, I've not seen that guy. Shooting down onto him, I've probably got a better chance of penetrating because it shallows out the angle of his armour. Oh, and definitely side on. Straight through the side of his turret. I can't remember what the armour is on the side of a T10's turret, but like I say, this thing's got 212mm of penetration at 100 yards. Well, 100 metres, sorry. So it should just get through that. Right, they're all rushing under the bridge, but that E100's still up there. I have not forgotten about him. We don't seem to be doing too well in the town, so we need to get a move on. I'm just looking for somewhere I can pen that E100, and the only place I've got a chance really is his lower plate, but that's, the angle's even greater because he's facing down that hill and I'm above him. I'm not going to penetrate that. So I swapped to my APCR. I don't want to get too close to him. There's still 3 tank destroyers. And they're not spotted on the map yet, so if I go for him and get spotted, I would imagine they're on those 2 little hills just this side of the town, and they can quite easily turn around and really ruin my day, which is why I'm staying over here, keeping the trees in between me and those hills. Move down a bit though to try and get a better shot into the side of his turret. Still using Dirty Scrublord Premium. Put one through the back of his turret. And then I switch back to armour piercing because I think, why am I still using premium when I've got the flat side of his turret? And somebody finishes him off anyway. So it's a moot point. Right, 3 tank destroyers left. Our guys that went to the town have done pretty damn well for themselves. AMX AC 48 is that? French tier 8 tank destroyer looks like. I think I managed to just sneak a shot into him, and again, I've not done a lot of damage in this round, not had a brilliant game, still playing very cautiously, but you can see here the gun depression, bit too slow to get a shot on that Rheinmetall Borsig, but I can get that one. Oh, and I damage his engine. If only you got assisted damage for damaging, knocking engines out as well as knocking tracks off, and that's it. Like I say, not the best gameplay, but I'm not brilliant in this tank yet, but hopefully it's shown you the advantages and disadvantages of it, so you'll be able to make your mind up and see whether it be a purchase for yourself. But I did enjoy doing those rounds, and I do enjoy playing it, so if it looks like your sort of thing, it's available in the store at the minute. And as always, if you like what you've seen, don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care out there, and I will catch you next time. See you later.